And welcome to our May edition of Sports Highlights. Greg Picavera is glad you're with us. Our program comes on Mondays at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m., weekends at 9 a.m. on Cox Cable 47, 517, and nnpstv.com, as well as YouTube. And of course, for more, log on to our website, as we said. Since February of 1992, we've been doing this show. Our guests today are Dennis Nelson, the head golf coach at Hampton University, and Jeremy Franks, the head golf professional at the James River Country Club. Starting off with Dennis Nelson. Good to see you, Dennis.
Happy to be here.
Thanks for being in the service and all that you did for the Navy.
Right.
Very good. Dennis, talk about your golf background. How did you get involved in golf?
Well, my golf background started over 20 years ago with me being in the military, everybody being competitive, so it was actually a challenge. How I actually got started was a challenge to one of the guys I worked with said I couldn't hit this golf ball. With me being a prior baseball player, and I took the challenge and I didn't. I couldn't hit it. That was my challenge, and I just went from there, started taking lessons and playing a lot, and that's how my career started in the golf field.
So have you been addicted to golf pretty much for the last 20 years? Is it in your blood? You eat, drink, and sleep golf?
Yes. I mean, once I started playing golf, and all the other sports kind of started going pushed to the side, and it was just golf 24/7.
You seem like a pretty laid-back guy, so golf fits your lifestyle pretty well, right?
Yeah, yes, you gotta have a cool, calm demeanor when you're out on the golf course.
You really do. What's a typical good day for you on the golf course for you personally before we talk about your team? What's an ideal day for Dennis Nelson?
Ideal for me is when I can shoot under par. That's usually a good day for me.
Where do you like to play golf at?
Anywhere. I don't choose this. As long as I have some good competition, I'll play anywhere.
Very good. Well, how many years have you been coaching Hampton University?
This is actually my third year as a coach of it.
Well, let's talk about that. How did that evolve? How did you get the job? And let's talk about your team.
The job came about. I met the head football coach, and at the time, the prior coach, they were looking for a coach at the time. The prior coach had left. And he's mentioned it to me, and I put in a resume, did a couple interviews, and I got hired for the job. Starting out the team, we were actually pretty good. I mean, but you have growing pains, but we're progressing every year since I've been there, which is a good thing.
Very nice. Now, you coach the men and the women both. Talk about how the challenge of practice and how does that work for travel?
The practice is actually, the challenge is actually with the school as far as classes, different classes at different times to get the team to practice. But we're actually doing pretty good now. We practice later on in the day. So most of the class they usually take us early in the morning, Monday through Friday. Actually, sometimes on the weekends, just with the class schedule. It was time to practice.
So what are the different challenges coaching both? Because that's not easy, having to juggle. One thing is just to coach the men's golf team. You're coaching the men and the women. And how many players on the roster?
I have 7 each, 7 young ladies, 7 young men. The challenges, probably the biggest challenge is probably the different attitudes. That's probably the biggest challenge. But we are, as a team, we get along pretty good. Girls and the guys get along. So that makes it a little easier. The biggest challenge with having both teams is our competitions. You know, I like to be hands-on. When we're playing at the same tournament, I'm all over the golf course. That kind of the biggest difficult we have. We're
talking to Dennis Nelson. He's the head golf coach at Hampton University. Dennis, you got a golf course right across from HU. Do you guys play there?
Every so often, I try to get around the whole 757 and take them out just to see different things. So that have a couple of times we have because you went out to the golf course right beside the school.
Across the street, basically.
Yes.
It's really talk about convenient in this traffic. Talk about how many holes and the competition. How does college golf work? As far as, do y'all play 18 holes, 9 holes? How does the competition? How do you get a win?
Well, the competition actually tournament-wise, on the men's side, usually is 36 on one day and 18 following up. A lot of the tournament, the girls on the ladies' side, they usually do 18, 18, 18. There's usually a 54-hole type tournament. That's about the difference between the two.
And where's your home place, and where do you play on the road usually?
We travel all over. We usually start out, our first tournament for the young ladies usually be to Bucknell University. That's usually the first one we get started. Our second one, usually we host. Last year was our first year hosting the tournament, and this will be our second annual this year in September. We host at Sleepy Hole Golf Course.
But like football has a home field advantage. Basketball has a home court advantage. Is there such thing as a home golf advantage?
Not really, but you do in a way. I would say you do. Because when we host out at Sleepy Hole, we'll play it more leading up to the tournament. So that'll get a little advantage of.
Talk about some of your top players in both the men and the women that you've had over the years on your team.
Oh, actually, a couple of my top players, actually, what I have this year, actually coming back for next year. It's 3. I actually have more than this. My 4 guys are actually real talented. They all shoot around the same average, scoring average about the same. They all have different talents. One is a real excellent driver of the ball. One is a real good putter. But they all come together. When we come together, we're actually a real good team.
Right. I'll talk about the fundamentals of golf. Are these, when you're playing Division I golf, it's a pretty high level. I'm sure the people that play golf enjoy playing golf outside of the regular season.
Yes. Division I golf is actually pretty tough. Play against some good competition.
Like who?
Competition would be like next year, prime example, going into the Big South. We have like Campbell University, Charleston Southern. Those are some of the top teams in Division I golf, which has been a little bit more challenge for us, which we're ready for going into next year.
Right. You talk about who inspires you in golf. Were you inspired by Tiger and Jack Nicklaus? And what do you think about pro golf when you watch it today?
I'm a golfer, so I love all the guys on TV. I wouldn't say I started during the era of when Tiger was that came through, but I follow all the golfers. I wouldn't say I have a specific. I just love the game of golf.
And you like the women's golf game too, right?
Women's too. I follow both. I follow women's, the men's, the Champions Tour. If it's golf on, I'm watching.
So you like the Golf Channel, I would say.
That's one of my favorites.
Yes. So where Kelly Tillman's retiring.
I saw that.
Yeah, she's been a big part of the Golf Channel.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right, talking to Dennis Nelson, head golf coach at Hampton University, and equipment. Talk about where your roster and players get the equipment. Do they like their own clubs, their own putters? How does that work? I always wondered how that works.
The equipment usually they have their own coming in. That's the only thing I don't provide is the clubs. But most of my guys play TaylorMade, so that's one of the big things we do have. They're TaylorMade. And they have different programs for college golfers if they want to buy new equipment. Just to do the college program, which is a big help.
Tell the fans out there how many golf balls you go through the course of a season.
We usually go through right at 50 dozens.
Wow. Yes. You lose most of them, right?
We lose quite a few sometimes.
You're not going to go in the lake looking for golf balls.
No.
So you don't worry. It's not like, well, baseball, you get a home run, you forget about the ball. Golf is pretty much the same thing. If you hit too far in the woods, you don't go looking for it.
No, we're going to leave it there.
Leave it there. Leave it there in the woods. What advice would you give to a person, a kid or an adult both, to play golf? Because golf seems like it's a sport of a lifetime like tennis.
Well, the young one's starting, you have to be patient. It is something, the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out. And you got to stick to what's going to make you better, and that's practice. The more practice, the better you will get. If you don't practice, then the game of golf is already tough as it is to play. When you don't practice, they make it harder.
Right. As far as the challenges too, that's something you have to do all the time. Like you said, practice makes perfect. How about summer camps for your golfers? Where do they go? Do they play any tournaments?
As a team, I kind of provide like each summer for them at least to play 2 state events just to stay competitive. And that's one of the challenges we have. Wherever you go back to your hometown is at least try to play in at least 2 state events every year.
Do you watch the way the golfers hold the club as far as the swing and the grip? How important is footwork, the swing, and the grip?
That's the most important. If you don't have the proper setup, proper grip, and your swing will never be consistent. And without consistency in golf is not good.
Do you prefer driving or putting? Because putting seems like it's an animal all by itself.
Well, I like the short game, so I'm going to say chipping and putting is, that's where you make the game is at, chipping and putting.
Very good. All right. Dennis Nelson, head golf coach at Hampton University. All the best with the Pirates, and good luck as y'all move on from the MEAC.
Yes, sir.
Very good. All right. Dennis Nelson, golf like tennis, sport for a lifetime. We're going to talk more golf with Jeremy Franks, the head golf professional at the James River Country Club. Sports highlights will roll on. For more, go to @GregBick on Twitter and nnpstv.com. Stay tuned.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us. All of us. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our determination, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
And welcome back to our May edition of Sports Highlights. Hope you enjoyed Dennis Nelson, the head golf coach at Hampton University. My name is Greg Pickaveras. Glad you're with us. For more, go to nnpstv.com, @GregPick on Twitter. Our May 2018 episode. Dennis Nelson. Now we talk to Jeremy Franks. He's the head golf professional at the James River Country Club. We've had him on the radio before. Good to see you in person.
Greg, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
How did you get involved in golf?
That's a complicated and long story, but I'll make it somewhat brief. In high school, we were playing lacrosse, and I had a couple of buddies that played golf, and we were trying to find something to do for the summer. And I didn't have golf clubs, and those guys asked me if I would go and buy some golf clubs, get some golf clubs for graduating high school. And so I asked my parents, and for my first set of golf clubs, I got women's McGregor Titans. And I hated the game because I always hit it shorter than the guys and didn't know why, until I went to a Herman sports goods store and I found out that my golf clubs were actually ladies' clubs. That was how of a novice that I was. All my lacrosse buddies went away to school. I had these clubs. I found a place in Frederick County called Clustered Spires that had a rate for my age bracket that I couldn't pass up. So we went out there, and I just fell in love with the game out there in the winter of '97. And it's been just a fantastic sport for me ever since.
We talked to Dennis in the first episode. Are you addicted to golf as well?
Addiction's probably a strong word, being working in it for the last 20 years, but the love of the game is still there. Most of my job now is instructional. I don't play nearly as much as I'd like to. I've got 3 small children, so the addiction to golf has gone past, but the love of the game is still definitely there.
Right. You watch the Golf Channel?
I do.
Yeah. Were you surprised about Kelly Tillman stepping down?
I was. Yeah, she seems to be such a pivotal piece of that programming that, and I actually got to meet her professionally at a Wounded Warrior event back when I was at a former club, and she just seemed like that was something she'd be doing for the rest of her life.
Yeah, I never heard anybody retiring from golf. But anyway, so we're talking to Jeremy Franks. Let's talk about your background in golf. You have some roots at Towson.
Yes, I played golf for a season at Towson University and was a Towson Tiger. When I got to James River Country Club, I actually invited the team down and they've played a couple times when they played at the William and Mary tournament. And just the legacy that Coach Aniger has passed on there has been terrific for the program.
Well, let's talk about the James River Country Club. It's a beautiful course. They got a tennis courts, they got golf, they got swimming. Talk about the golf course, and you also have a museum there as well.
Yeah, the golf course is phenomenal. In fact, last year we hosted the USAM qualifier, and we're scheduled to do that again in July. So we're really looking forward to that. Top amateurs in the world coming to play. And Mark Lawrence, who won medalist honors last year, actually got to the semifinals at Riviera last season. So it really kind of was nice to see kind of our hometown guy get all the way there. The golf course is short by today's numbers, but the tree lines and the green contours and the speed of the greens is what really sets James River Country Club apart from the rest. And our superintendent, Rob Wilmans, has done a great job continuing to grow just the overall condition of the course into somewhat perfection, and the members are really happy with the conditions of the course.
I think that you and Kingsmill are two of the best courses I've seen, the River course, and which the pros play on, and your course as well. But it takes a lot of effort in a village to keep a golf course, especially the winters. The winters up in Maryland are more harsh there than they are here. But still, we had a pretty rough first quarter.
We certainly did. It's our rounds for last year were up a little bit around that first quarter of the season, but definitely down this year. Windy, cold, rain. We had snow back in March, so that we're looking forward to this season coming and getting some heat on these greens and grassing the course.
Yeah, it seems like we used to have more spring and summer. I'm starting to think we have more fall and winter now. But we're talking to Jeremy Franks, head golf professional at the James River Country Club, based in the Riverside area of Newport News. Greg Picaveras, glad you're with us for our May edition of Sports Highlights. So, have a little fun here. What do you recommend somebody to have in their golf bag when they're out golfing? Balls, clubs? Give us a lay of the land.
Well, I'm a big believer in Titleist golf balls. They just tend to make sort of the top quality ball that they have here. I'm more of a Pro V1 player. I like the Pro V1X just because it's a little bit of firmer cover, and I like the launch characteristics for me a little bit, and I like a little firmer feel off the putter. I like to mark my golf ball the same way every time with a 24, and then I do 3 dots for my children underneath, 2 dots for my wife and I, and then I put the Lord on top. And that's one of the characteristics of my golf ball. So if you find one out there, James River, Greg, that's how I'll mark it.
I just leave them alone. But it's all good to see them. Now, the thing I've always grew up playing tennis. When you use 3 tennis balls in a match, you still use the same balls. Golf, it's like they disappear. They have a mind of their own. When you hit it, you're not necessarily going to get that same golf ball back.
That's true. We've got ponds, James River. We've got hit a couple of different scald shots out of a bunker. You're going to be wanting to replace that ball right away.
You're in the neighborhoods too, and you're also by CNU. So there's a golf ball that could be anywhere, basically. Well, let's talk about what advice would you have for young and old to play golf? Golf seems like it's a sport of a lifetime.
It is totally a sport of a lifetime. For our club, we have a huge junior program. We really try to focus on making sure that the juniors want to come back when they get of age. We start them at 4 to 7 years old. We call it I run that program myself as a father of 3, and the kids start just by having their own personal towel that they get to sit on. We talk a little bit about the game. We provide them with a little light instruction. We take a water break in between. Spend about 45 minutes with them right in the middle of the lunch hour, so moms and dads can get away and have a little lunch break to themselves, and we take care of their kids, and that's been a really fun program for me to run. We also have 2 major clinics for the year for an age group of 8 to 18. We'll have 25 to 30 kids in each of those for the season, and that's really where the bulk of our junior instruction comes from. A couple of years ago, we started an Excel program, which is for sort of our advanced players. We actually get them out on the golf course playing on Saturday afternoons, and that's really grown the junior program as far as getting kids on the course, which is my ultimate goal, is getting kids on the golf course.
Right. This is a sport of a lifetime, like you said.
No question.
So you talk about as far as the advice for golf, but let's talk about the parameters of the golf course. Pros, you don't see them taking golf carts. They would always say no to golf carts. If you're wounded, you're still going to walk. The seniors, I'm not sure, do they do golf carts or not? But why are golf carts so controversial with golf? I mean, if you want to play when you're 90, you should be able to have a golf cart. Now, the public, you're allowed to have golf carts, and you have golf carts there, but it seems like it's like a macho thing. If you're a golf cart, it's a weakness.
Well, for our particular club,
Yeah.
We are a fairly easy walking golf course. The
Okay.
tees and the greens are right next to each other. So I really encourage our members to walk. If they are interested in walking, I want to make sure that they're staying healthy and staying in shape. And so our golf has moved by about 60-40, with 40% of it being walking, which is unusual. We have great golf carts, and a lot of times in the middle of the summer, there's no better way to get in a golf cart and get a quick 9 or 18 in. As far as controversy, your senior golfers on the senior tour, they generally have golf carts available to them. A lot of the controversy came back with Casey Martin when he
Right.
had a medical exemption. But I think that's kind of gone away now, and I don't think that is necessarily as big of a deal as it was before.
Right. It's just a nice added value because golf, you talk to the people at Kingsmill, they'll say it's not as popular as it used to be as far as people's time. We live in an ADD world. People are checking their phones all the time. I mean, golf sometimes can be a 4 to 6 hour ordeal. You'd have to almost be retired now or just take the day off. And we live in a very busy world. How's that affected golf a little bit from the time you've been at the club till now?
We've grown our rounds since I've been there, and we had our most rounds that I've had last season. I think part of that is that we do keep our pace of play at 4 hours or less. It's pretty typical that we get 4 people in a golf cart to play in about 3.5 hours. So one of the things that I always say is, what's the reason to join a private club? Well, one of the number one reasons is we keep the pace of play at a reasonable hour, so you can get yourself done and around the golf course rather quickly, and really have time to spend with the rest of your family and other things that you may want to do. That's a main proponent of private club in general. One of the things I love about James River.
Well, let's talk about how many golfers do you have there?
We have 330 golfers, and the club is about 650 members. All those members can play the golf course. So we can have as many as 80 to 100 players in a day. All of our events that we run, our member guests and our single one-day member guests are almost always full. So the tournament packages that we have at James River are phenomenal and are really well received by the membership.
Very good. Talking to Jeremy Franks. Intrigued by Tiger. I mean, he's back. Is he really back? We'll see with the U.S. Open coming up,
Sure.
Just right around the corner. But golf is, there's a lot of young people playing golf, and it's getting tougher and tougher to get that edge back. It seems like, I mean, he's in his 40s now. It's not as easy, let's say it was 10 years ago.
One of the things that I think is missed a little bit is his work with Chris Como. Chris did a phenomenal job getting his body and his swing back into a fluid movement, kind of how I would like to teach and instruct the game. He's allowed him to make the release of the golf club and the rotation of the golf club in a way that won't inhibit his body as much. So when I instruct, I'm really focused on setup in a way that your body can turn more relaxed and not so stiff and tight. And then as you come through impact, you're releasing the entire body rotation so that you're not getting stuck in the ground or having to really force your arms through at an odd pace. So your body's really more mechanical, almost like you're throwing a baseball. That's my teaching style, and it goes very similar to what Chris would have helped Tiger with.
You're exactly right, because people talk about golf as not a physical sport, but you're using your arms, your legs. Like a baseball player, you can throw your arm out of socket. You're bending down constantly. That can wreak havoc on your back. So golf is just as much physical as it is mental.
No question. Yeah, the physicality of golf nowadays, if you look at the players that are out there, they're all athletes now. We don't have the guys that were on the tour back in the day, and to compete out there, you've really got to be at top level condition, and they're just proving that on tour out there.
And the women's game has really grown too, especially in North and South Korea.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I got to go to Kingsmill a couple of years ago when the ladies came out there, and the way that the ladies, especially from the Korean ladies, the way they practice, phenomenal. They are out there from morning to night, and it just shows how important practice is and really trying to get better. And they really started to dominate on tour.
Do indoor driving ranges help a golfer?
I think they do. I think with all the launch monitor systems and the simulators that we have now, it really allows the player to get some good positive feedback. We're just hitting into a net. They might not have had the same feel, but staying loose and getting your muscles to continue to rotate and make the strike of the golf ball essential.
The golf tips, I mean, you do a lot of tips as an instructor or as a pro. the videos, the online stuff, are they beneficial? Because there's tons on YouTube that people can watch. Or is it better just to get out yourself and do the old-fashioned way and just play?
I'm a big proponent of video and all three forms of teaching. So I really focus on the verbal side of things, make sure that they're communicating with verbal communication so that we both have an understanding of what we're trying to do. I'm a kinetic teacher. I will really take you and I'll move you into positions so that you can really get the feel of it. And then once you've got the feel of it, I'll videotape you. I'll send you a text of the video with some notes on it. So you can kind of get, you've got all three characteristics of the learning process that you can really adapt to. And I think that's why my students get better quickly, is we try to focus on all three.
It's almost like you have to be a chiropractor.
Yes, it helps.
I mean, it really does, because your back can really wreak havoc in your body. But footwork, like you said, it's an athletic sport. Just like NASCAR driving, you got to be an athlete to go 500 to 600 miles. The same thing for a golf course in the heat for 4 straight days. And I always like this too about golf is they earned their salary. They don't get a salary. They'll get endorsements, of course. They'll get shoe deals or whatever and club deals as far as the putters and the balls and so forth and the attire. But if you don't make the cut, you don't get paid.
That's what I love about the game. It's all about what you make of it. And you got to show up every time to make a check.
I mean, you can have a good Thursday, a horrible Friday in pro golf, and not even get paid, correct?
Correct.
Very good. All right, leave us with a final Jeremy Franks tip.
You got to finish the shot. All right, you got to make sure that your body rotates all the way to the finish position. You can save poor shots when you rotate all the way through. Just like throwing a football, you want that Tom Brady-esque finish when you release the ball. You want to have that same feel when you play golf. Make sure that you finish balanced and fully rotated.
Very good, Jeremy. All the best to you and the club in the future.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Very good. Jeremy Franks, head golf professional of the James River Country Club in Newport News. Excellent sport for the spring, summer, really year-round, as long as the weather's nice, especially in Florida. Very good. All right, I want to thank Dennis Nelson and Jeremy Franks and our entire crew at Fazoli's and our great staff again for our May edition of Sports Highlights. Don't forget, in June, it's graduations for all these kids. I know they're looking forward to that as well, the seniors, and enjoy the nice weather too. For Ray Price, I'm Greg Picaveras. Have a wonderful May. Don't forget, Newport News Greek Festival starts May 31st. We'll talk to you soon.